Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
September 17th, 1994 was the first what? Let me think for a second.
Game against UCLA, number 13 UCLA in town. College game day was here, but that's not what he's talking
I played in that game. I had a couple carries in that game.
You me give it to you?
Please give it to me.
September 17th, 1994 was the first year of the tunnel walk, and it has been going on for 3 decades later.
I was there, but you don't. It was a blur. It was all a dream.
This is Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Night. Whoops. Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
that's all right. That's all right. I was talking, didn't hear myself. But welcome to 93.7 The Ticket. This is Bigger Than the Score. I'm Peter Ferguson with Peter Ferguson BHS LLC, and on the ones and twos as always is Harrison. And it sounded a little bit different in the 11 o'clock hour, but as I said before, we're like the Jeffersons. We're moving on up, and so traditionally at 8 a.m., but now at the 11 o'clock hour, following Fitness Fanatics.
Yeah, this is going to be the routine going forward here. So again, if you're looking for Inside the Huddle, that's 8 a.m. If you're looking for Bigger Than the Score, that's 11 a.m. And Fitness Fanatics, they're not moving. What's next? 24 is not moving. So this is the only part on these Sundays that we're really moving around here. But yeah, those are your quick programming notes. If you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685. That's the Starter Heyman text line. You can always put a face to the voice, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Allo, Channel 961.
Well, and always good, like you said, look and just go ahead and tune in starting at 7 a.m. and you got great programming all throughout the day. And so, following up whatever the Huskers, but a Husker win. So it's always good, and got to hear a little bit of the breakdown from Jay as he broke things down. And then Next 24 had some great components on just speaking about just the physical, but also the mental wellness as I listened in. And then Fitness Fanatics always brings it, that 9 to 11. I know Jeff was uber excited as he talked to everything from, people should know what they should wear when they come to the game to, it was the first victory. So he didn't have to ban his family from coming because they never won, to, fanboying out on different components. So
that's why it's good we have Jay at 8 so we can get the real X's and O's, and then Jeff can have fun with it after.
Yeah, no, does a great job. And so appreciate the opportunity and DP being in this space. September 1st, absolutely beautiful when you think about, you got Labor Day. And I mean, we've been in some situations where the weather has not been so cooperative. And so this 11 o'clock hour, I'm kind of excited for in a lot of ways, because we're coming up on 2 years. I know Jeff talked about 2.5 years for them, but we're coming up on 2 in October. And I think now every time I come in, there's going to be light.
Yeah, we've been really doing that for 2 years.
Yeah. October will be kind of kicking off this 2-year anniversary. And so it's hard to believe, but I looked at one of those things because my wife was asking me, like, what do 8 o'clock, 11, how's it going to be? And I said, I think it's going to be actually light every time I come in, which will be exciting in a lot of ways. And so excited just for the opportunity, the platform. Again, want to thank Rebecca and DP just for the opportunity to promote positive youth action on the airways is what they do throughout. Harrison, thank you for making the time and space as well. It's a lot going on. I like to say it's that, the thing that's going on, the trend, the candy salad, so to speak. I think that's the time of year it is for sports here with, you got baseball, you got college football starting, you got the Olympics kind of just got over, you got school, golf. I mean, you got so many things going on. It's kind of the sports salad time of year.
Is this the best month for you?
It's exciting in a lot of ways. I mean, you gotta drop, you've got the excitement with the Dallas Cowboys. There it goes. You knew it was coming. We're all ready. We're all eligible for the Super Bowl. So it is, I think I do miss the basketball component, but seeing some of the free agency and some of those things after the summer league manifest, but you're also seeing when colleges get back into play. You're seeing, some of those preseason workouts. So, I followed Cooper Flagg, who's over at Duke, and you're starting to see some of those videos come out of those early season workouts of how people's just honestly game and body has transformed. And then you got the WNBA that took a hiatus during the Olympics and is now kicking back off. And you're seeing kind of some really shifts in what may have been some doubters with some players early on, really flipping, which
at a certain point you can't deny the numbers.
Well, it takes time. It takes time across the board. And I mean, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, but you're seeing so many others. And I think just the expansion of those opportunities, and then the kickoff of volleyball, soccer. It is one of those time of years. If you want to find something, if you want to engage, athletically or extracurricularly, there is something. There is something out there for you. So,
and of course, volleyball, I got shot them out 2-0 now. They beat ranked Kentucky. And then last night they gave one set up to TCU. But they still closed it out pretty convincingly.
Well, and I think that, and you got other area schools also starting, a lot of the high schools, there was the first kind of triangulars or tournaments. I know Bellevue West, I believe, had one for, had teams from inside and outside the area, high school football. No Lincoln teams had 0-week games, but there were a number of area games.
Jay call one.
I think the Lincoln Lutheran, Lincoln Christian game, which was a good contest. And then you also had some weather on Thursday, so I think it postponed, I know, the East game to Friday for a full slate. But with that being said, like I said, you're laughing, so I think somebody sent something in. So here we go.
Great unknown texter. Pete sounds like he's got a little more pep in the step at 11 a.m. Also, he says, great win yesterday. Go Big Red. So, maybe we'll get a little more higher energy, Pete, because you'll have maybe a couple coffees in them by that point.
What I'm going to say, I bet you it was unknown, but I figured it was probably Phil Maynard or Mike Alvarez. So you were gracious enough not to put a win. But a couple shout outs real quick, too. We talked about it almost being, a couple years, but I always tell, what a difference a year makes.
Yeah.
Because I think last year at this time, volleyball day in Nebraska was happening on the 30th. And, I had a connection in a special way. My daughter had the opportunity to play. She was at Nebraska Kearney, or still is at Nebraska Kearney, but in that capacity was playing. And so, as those pictures came back on the feed and you started seeing those on social media and those posts, I think it's something that we'll always remember, but it was also her birthday. And so she had her birthday on August 30th again this year, and it was a little smaller. She had a couple friends that she was with. I like to say it was 3 of them. And so we were 90,000. We were minus 90,000 in the celebration, but want to wish Jaden Ferguson a happy birthday. She's transitioning from a different role as a player to she's going to be a grad assistant coach at Kearney, and really enjoying that experience. And so just again, proud of her. Don't, like I said, want to put that out in the airways and take a personal note of privilege and say happy birthday to her.
Absolutely. Happy birthday out to her. And that's going to be tough to ever beat that birthday, though. That's a blessing and a curse all at the same time, because we're probably going to have a hard time topping 90,000 people for your birthday.
Well, it's better than Rico, because I look at Rico's kid and they don't know any better. He's got a long ways to go. What is he going to do for a Sweet 16? So, I also want to just congratulate, before we get into our guests, I want to congratulate Rebecca Pearson. We mentioned earlier, but she is a Lincoln Journal-Star Women's Inspire Business Leader finalist, and truly deserved. I oftentimes see people say congratulations, but well earned. It's not something that she works towards or seeks that recognition, but is truly deserving of that. And so just to know in-house and what she's done for the community, to be recognized in that capacity, just wanted to just publicly acknowledge and congratulate all the finalists that are part of the Women's Inspire component, but especially Rebecca, just for the investment that she's made personally with her time, talent, but also financially to some of the things that we've been involved in. So congratulations, Rebecca. Again, well earned.
Yeah, no kidding. And, obviously I'm a little biased, but I worked with her. Yeah, she's about business right away. DP, Rebecca, both. And DP even gives Rebecca Pearson all the credit all the time. I mean, she works, and she's in a way that's great and gets everybody on the same page, communicates. And it's just really good getting people to focus on one thing. We got a mission here. Let's drive on it. And so, I'm going to bias. I know who I'd vote for. But like you said, congratulations to everybody involved in that, because the more great people in Lincoln, the better.
Well, and just making things better, and relationships absolutely matter to her. And so again, congratulations to her and all. And so it is Labor Day weekend. And so I'm going to use this as the intro to our guest, since I've got a little bit more pep to my step. Labor Day weekend, what is that food? I think about cookouts, barbecue. I mean, honoring those that are investing, those blue collar individuals that are doing. But what is that Labor Day food that if you go to somebody's cookout that you're looking to go ahead and just dig into?
I'm a simple man. Burgers and fries on Labor Day. That always hits right because you're getting to the fall.
Okay.
It's typically still pretty nice out. Labor Day, yeah. As long as we got meat on the grill, I'm not gonna be too picky, but we got to have some sort of meat on the grill. And
Okay.
Burgers and fries, or not fries, burgers and hot dogs. It's always a good bet.
Okay, so with that segue, I'm gonna have to ask our guests because they're over here. They're like, okay, you didn't tell us we're gonna have food and everything, and so we've got two scholars here, and they're looking at me. They're like, okay, I thought this was gonna be about, youth action and promoting and giving advice, but you got to give advice to individuals out there. They're doing their cookouts. They're doing something this weekend. What's got to be on the plate? Eva, I want to start with you.
Well, I'm probably gonna go with basic again, like hamburgers and hot dogs, definitely,
Okay.
or like some good ribs, barbecue ribs.
Ooh, you took it up a notch. So can the ribs share the grill with the barbecue with the hot dogs and hamburgers? Is that?
Honestly, it doesn't really matter with me.
Ooh, okay. Audience, you may need to chime in on that. I think there's some people squirming a little bit right now if that grill should be shared with ribs and the hot dogs and hamburgers. Okay, I like that. And Nainoa, what about you?
Yeah, I'll agree as well. Like just burgers, ribs, or anything like hot dog related. Just anything that just like meat on the grill.
Okay. Should the grill be shared?
I mean,
with those two items.
Yeah, it can be shared.
Okay. These are people who, hey, a family that grills together stays together. That's what we're looking at. Well, hey, I'm excited to have both of you in the space, and so I want to get right into it. Eva, tell us a little bit, introduce yourselves to who you are. And again, have you always lived in Lincoln? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Eva, and I've always lived in Lincoln for like my whole life. And I really enjoy doing basketball. I'm a really active person, and yeah.
Who's in your family? Tell us, and if you don't mind, like tell us your mom's name. I saw you got your little brother out there, Roman. He wasn't able to quite sit down. He was like, "This is about me right now." There's a lot of downtown to explore, so they're walking the streets. But give them some shout outs.
My mom, Claire Grow, and then my little brother, William Devon Murray.
Okay, like that. William Devon Murray, and William is how old? Because
he's 3, almost turning 4 in September.
All right, and he's giving you all a run for your money, isn't he?
For sure.
I like that. Now, Noah, what about you? Give us your name and who's in your family.
My name's Nainoa, and I'm like sports. I'm pretty athletic, and the people in my family is my mom, dad, and both my big brother and little brother. Shout outs to their work because they kind of wanted me to do this as well. My mom works at Lincoln Family Medical Group. So if you like feel sick or anything, just go over there.
Okay.
And my brother, he works at Share Tea. So if you just want boba or anything, just go over there.
Okay. What's your favorite flavor?
Favorite flavor? Well, I keep on consistently getting like Thai tea.
Okay. The Thai tea. You're giving us the insight for Harrison. We might have to go ahead and visit.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down.
Okay, good stuff. So now I know. First off, tell us, where have you always lived in Lincoln? And then where have you gone to school?
Yeah, I've always lived in Lincoln, born here, and I'm currently going to Park Middle School.
Okay, and then where did you go to elementary school?
Roper.
Okay. Shout out anybody at Park currently that you want to shout out.
Yeah. Claudia.
Okay.
My avid teacher. I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for her.
Okay. Shout out to Miss Claudia out there. I know she's listening because she sent a text earlier this morning. Was like, okay, can I share? I was like, yeah, I think she already did to most people. Eva, what about you? Tell us where you talked about, like, obviously you go to Park, but where have you gone to school?
I've gone to school at Mickle Middle School, Park Middle School, and for elementary, I went to Brownell.
Okay. And tell us Brownell. Tell us like a little bit about Brownell for like some people may not be as familiar as all. I mean, we've got a number of elementary schools. What's special about Brownell?
definitely like the diversity. You'll be surprised about like how many like different like races and like like how much equality there is there. Like there's definitely more than just one type of person. Like everybody's unique there. And most teachers there will like recognize that for sure. It's a really small school, so there's like you'll definitely notice there's not a lot of like like full classrooms, but there's definitely like there's always good teachers, good friends, and they're like the classroom, it feels super safe there.
Love that. Love that. And their mascot.
It's a buffalo.
Okay, so I said something with Fitness Fanatics earlier. If Ralphie comes into town, we know the first place we got to go visit, Harrison.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to Brownell Elementary School. So this is out there, Coach Prime. If you are bringing, Colorado, anybody, if you're bringing Ralphie to Lincoln next week, we've got a place that you need to visit with a bunch of scholars that would be excited to see Ralphie.
I'd be excited.
Oh,
I've never been to Brownell, but I'll go.
Yeah. We'll make it a 90. We'll put it out there. Probably a 93.7 the ticket remote with Ralphie and Brownell Elementary School. We'd have to make it happen.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to let people know it's actually Ralphie though. It might be.
Yeah, true. Well, that's a whole nother thing.
We'll just say it's a random buffalo, not related to Colorado at all.
So, Eva, tell me, give me somebody that's special over at Brownell outside of the mascot, the buffalo, that you want to give a shout out to?
Somebody special at Brownell was Miss Rednick. She was my 5th grade teacher, and she really made my 5th grade year a lot better. I feel like she definitely stepped in when I needed help.
That's special. So Miss Rednick, thank you for doing that. Definitely a shout out. So each of you were in space, and so I wanted to pose this question to you. We don't ask scholars, Harrison, like their why. We always they introduce themselves with their purpose, and so they say their name and then what their purpose is. And I was impressed because it was the first time that I had actually really come into contact with them in space, and they were, I won't say put on the spot, but they were asked to share that or just share a little bit about them. Nainoa, would you share what is your purpose if somebody were to ask you?
Well, my purpose is just having people's voices be heard, and I want to listen because I don't know what people have been through and everything, and I want to hear what ideas and just anything they want to put out to the world.
I think powerful just in its sense, because that's not something you made up. That's something that you feel. And so put into words. Eva, what about you? What if someone were to ask you, like, my name is Eva Grow and my purpose is?
My purpose is definitely to take what I learned outside of the classroom, and students that don't have the chance to like be outside of the classroom and have that experience. It's definitely my goal to take what I learned outside and bring it in the class for kids that don't have that opportunity and experience.
I got to get a response from Harrison as he's sitting there, just like.
These are blowing me away. I think if you want to ask me this question, my answer would have been like to be the next Kobe Bryant at that age. So like to hear these answers, like you guys clearly thinking about it a lot more and a lot wiser than I would have. So that's absolutely powerful as we wrap up this first segment here.
Yeah, and as Harrison said, again, we're going to be right back with some more from Nainoa and Eva on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nebraska State Veterans Homes are here to serve veterans, their spouses, surviving spouses, and Gold Star parents. Join your fellow veterans and their families at one of our homes in Bellevue, Kearney, Norfolk, or Scottsbluff. With a sliding scale to determine your financial contribution, an excellent clinical team, and plenty of fun activities, our homes are the perfect retirement choice. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/homes. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Drinking and driving causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
I'm Chris Jackamick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jackamick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. This is Peter Ferguson BHS LLC, and joined on the ones and twos with Harrison. And we have moved from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock on Sundays. And so if you were looking for us at 8, you saw Jay Foreman. That was not me. That was not a baby picture of myself. But got a full lineup on Sundays. So please tune in starting at 7 a.m. on Sundays for a full, I guess I want to say a full cadre of shows, and then also coming up with some NFL and other components as well as Royals baseball.
Yeah, we got Royals today. Programming note, I believe that one is, let me double check. 12:30. We'll be switching over on the airwaves there. So again, like Pete Ferguson said, we'll keep the shows going. Just use the streams, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo, channel 961, because that will take into effect during the breeze. So if you're listening on the FM brick and mortar, you'll get me, DP Haas, for that first segment. If you want to continue listening from that point on until the Royals are over, use the streams.
Well, and we've got 2 scholar guests in, and they've already just, again, each week, I don't say blow us away or surprise us, because it should be expected at this point, but really appreciate having Nainoa in the space this morning, and also Eva. And I'm going to go with something Eva said during the break. We had a couple walk by, and Eva, I want you to say what you said and just your explanation for it, because it was something we had not heard in this space before, but I thought it was awesome.
I said I cannot wait to get old, because when I see old people, it really makes my day. Like when I see a couple, like it just makes me like happy, because it's like, dang, I want to grow old with somebody. I want to be that type of person when I get older, to like cheer people up when I'm walking down the street with my husband.
Wow. That was just, it was just so unique. Like I said, coming from you and saying that. And so as that couple walked by and they walked back by, like you just lit up. I almost wish we could have just opened up the windows and grabbed them in here. So my hope is that they hear that. But if you are a more seasoned couple out there, you are making people's day. People are taking notice in regards to that. So Nainoa, I want to kind of going off of that, like, 'cause that's something I wouldn't have known by just looking at Eva, that she like, watching seasoned couples out there really lightens her up. What's something that people don't know by just looking at you?
They don't know that I'm like a really nice guy. Like usually when people first look at me, they just see me as like a quiet guy and like just doesn't want to talk to people. But when you really start get to know me more, I'm really like nice and like genuine, and I like giving advice just to people around me.
Like that. What's a piece of advice that you would actually, that you feel like, okay, this is something I have in me, but I want to make sure I share that with other people?
I mean, just be yourself, because like I see a lot of people around here just acting different when they're around like certain people, and it doesn't matter how they see you. It just matters how like you see yourself, I would say. And I would want them to just be them and just express how like a person they are to the world.
That's, I think, powerful in so many ways of just being yourself. And I think like that's hard in a lot of ways. And I want to follow up with you and both Eva, like what's a step that somebody that might be challenged by that right now of being themselves? What's one thing that they can do to start on that path to truly be themselves?
I mean, you can just also just ask for help. I would say, like, don't always keep it to yourself. Like, express it, and also just tell people how you're actually feeling, because you don't know how, like, what people have been through and everything. So, yeah, I would just say just tell people instead of keeping it to yourself.
Always good. Something like we talk about relationships, but voice it. And if you don't voice it, write it, and continue, and somebody will listen. Eva, what about you? How can people take that one step to truly be themselves?
Going off of what he said, I would definitely say ask for advice. If you're like not feeling confident, you can go and ask for advice for someone who's been through the same situation. And I feel like it'll be a lot more helpful if you just ask instead of like hold it all in and be like, oh, I'll be fine. Like, no, you have to ask for that help if you want to get past that step in your life.
Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. Sam Stecker, Mission Mondays. Those who have listened before, he's been on the show, but also if you get a chance, he's always been a signal boost for me, but I want to be a signal boost for him. Puts a challenge out on Mondays. And one of his challenges was to ask somebody what brings you joy. And I am interested with each of you. You already shared a little bit about seasoned individuals walking by. She's still like, if you are watching on the stream, her smile is like, I think if we had a parade of seasoned individuals walking by, she would absolutely lose it. But other than seasoned individual couples, what brings you joy, Eva?
Basketball, being active and like being in the gym with people I really enjoy being around.
I like the fact, like, she didn't just talk about games.
Yeah.
Harrison, she said, like, she went into talking about teammates and being around individuals. What type of like teammates or coaches make you perform at your best?
Someone who's gonna push me and want me to work for like want me to work for what they see me as I'm worth. Like push me to drive harder than what I am.
Wow. I think that's what we all want. That's what we all want, whether it's basketball or not. Who do you play for right now, or who have you played for?
I've played for the Cavs, and then currently I'm playing for Malone Panthers.
Okay.
With Keyshawn Wilson.
Okay, fantastic. And so you said you're doing some workouts. Season hasn't quite gotten here yet. We got to put this out. Who is your favorite player?
My favorite player, like in general?
Yeah. It can be pro, college, middle school.
This is gonna be controversial, but Angel Reese, she's really inspired me because like I see how strong she is with the ball and she really fights for it. And like I know some people won't see her as like the best player of all time, but like it's really that one person that I've been in that situation too, and she really pushes and drives and like dives for that ball. And I'm like, oh, I want to be like that too. So she really inspires me.
I think that's not even controversial. I mean, I think you gave all sorts of characteristics and aspects of a player I think that any coach at any level would want on their team. So I don't feel that's controversial.
I had a soft spot for Carlos Boozer for those same reasons. Yeah. I'll tell you right now, Angel Reese is probably going to be the better offensive player out of the two. So I don't think it's controversial at all.
No, great description. Now, Noah, what about you? Like, what brings you joy?
Family, friends, and what Evo was going off. Yeah, just sports. I like being active and everything.
So what's a sport that what are some of your involvements?
Well, I'm not involved in like I would say like any sports team. I mean, I practice with like, the girls volleyball team at Park, but I'm not playing for any actual team. I just like being there and just practicing to like keep on working hard and being consistent.
Well, and I like how you talked about that. And it doesn't ever have to be a formalized engagement, but you gave something. I like continuing to be engaged and practicing to stay consistent. And I think sometimes everybody thinks it's got to be this formal component and this, that, and the other. But you've exhibited some discipline where you're like, okay, hey, I practice with the volleyball team and I help support and make them better. I think the cool part that came to fruition was even that red-white volleyball scrimmage.
Yeah.
There was one of the practice players they practiced against some men was actually suited up and played during that game. And so I think there's tremendous opportunities, and even watching the Olympics and the men's volleyball and things like that, though it's not as readily present in this space, is out there. So I'm excited to see some of the things you're going to bring to the table. Why don't you tell me, like, maybe a best piece of it? Yeah, we asked you a little bit before, but that best piece of advice. I'm going to go the opposite. What's the worst piece of advice that you've ever received? Not who you received it from, but the worst piece of advice maybe you received, and why did you deem it to be kind of that worst piece of advice?
I mean, I haven't actually gotten a worst piece of advice from anyone because, like, every single time I ask someone for advice, it helps me in some sort of way, and that's how me myself just like gives advice to other people because I build off of the advice that's like came to me.
I like that. And so I think maybe when we asked is what's a piece of advice that you said you would give, but what's a piece of advice that maybe you've received that you're like, man, this was on point?
The one I even said earlier, just be yourself. Cause like when you just like act differently around people, you're not being who you truly are. And no matter where you are, no matter the people you hang around with, you should just be yourself instead of just acting different.
Powerful. Eva, what about you? Worst piece of advice maybe that you've received?
Worst piece of advice I've received is to not take that shot. If you do not take that shot, you're not gonna get the experience. You're not gonna get the opportunities. It's gonna be like it's like if you missed a shot, it's like it's never even happened because you didn't take the shot. So if you just if you don't take the shot, it's not gonna count on you. It's not gonna be like, oh, I had that chance, but I didn't take it. So why wouldn't you take it if you knew it's right there?
Love that. I think from a coaching standpoint, I always tell people there's going to be times when you're going to have a coach and they're giving you a scholarship of where you should shoot from. And I always would tell them, was this an okay shot? Was this a good shot? Was this the best shot or could you get a better shot? But I'd never tell you not to shoot because you might end up with the ball with a second left and I need you to go ahead and shoot the ball. And you're so reluctant to because you've always been told not to. And so I think that's an excellent point. What's a piece, I want to stay on that advice train a little bit. What's a piece of advice, Eva, I want to start with you, that you would give to educators? So school kind of kicked off. You've been in school about 2 weeks. If you're in Lincoln Public Schools, they've got 4 days off. So they've got 2 for professional learning. So they don't go back till Wednesday. But as they're kind of getting their feet back under them, and I say educators in all sense, whether it's para, the food service individuals, the transportation, what is a piece of advice that you would give to educators, not just in Lincoln Public Schools, but across the country right now?
To definitely keep pushing. I know times can get hard, but if you take a day off, it's always gonna come back and get you somehow. Or if you lack on work, it's gonna be rough to make it up. So if you just get it done and then think of how much free time you could have at the end of the day when you get your work done and then you could be productive and do what things you love. So I
Like
would
that.
say just keep going with the work.
Like that. What about you? What's a piece of advice that you would give to those adult educators out there right now?
You should hear out your students or just anyone because, like I said, you don't know what anyone's been through. And I've also heard from because the best connections I have with teachers and stuff, they hear their students out and they always just check on them and everything. And I've also heard from a few teachers that oh, I'm not your friend, I'm your teacher. And I feel like that's not the best thing to say because they might be going through something and they always need someone to be there for them.
We need you in a professional development, opening up, not just for educators here, but just across this country, because I think that's something that they can all take from you. So we're going to come back and we want to ask you a little bit about kind of your future self, where you see yourself, not if, but when you're going to be successful on different things, some truths that you want to put forward, and then our love huddle. So we'll be back on 93.7 The Ticket, bigger than the score.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk about trading up. Not what you're thinking. You could never trade her in, but you can trade up her stone if you like. Signify the growth of your love, the challenges you have overcome, or any part of your love journey by trading up her diamond. Whether it's been 5 years, 25 years, or 50, say it with a bling. Big love, big bling. We got you. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Hello, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I was noticing on your website, you have more than 150 new 2024 and 2025 Hondas in stock right now.
Yes, we do, Charlie. It's neat when you drive by and see all the cars on our lot, and we have most all models and all different colors available, and we even have more than hundreds on the way. We also have the all-new, all-electric 2024 Honda Prologue in stock right now. We have a few of them to choose from, plus qualified buyers get financing from just 1.9% APR.
How about your pre-owned selection?
I talk to a lot of my customers and friends, and they still think that we just sell brand new Honda, but we sell all different models, make of pre-owned cars, and we have more than 100 to choose from right now.
Well, maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them, perhaps on a date, and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People Seeding Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, "Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket," and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket. This is Bigger Than the Score. I'm Peter Ferguson, BHS LLC, and joined as always, thankful and appreciative of Harrison being on the ones and twos on this Sunday morning, moving from the 8 o'clock. And if you've seen the promos, I was tongue-in-cheek, but put the Jeffersons Moving On Up song because we moved on up to the 11 o'clock primetime slot right before the Cowboys will play on every Sunday starting next week, kicking it off with the Cleveland Browns. Yes, that's another drop for anybody who's listening.
The Bears are going to be playing too.
So with that said, we got our last segment and have had two I know I say phenomenal, fantastic. I don't know. We just run out of kind of words to.
Yeah, we need more adjectives.
Yeah, we got to put. If you got some, just bring them in. But we've got Eva and Nainoa, and both of them are scholars over at Park Middle School, and I got the opportunity to meet them this week and continue to not just impress, but more so have poured into us in this studio, but poured in this space that they were in earlier this week. And so I wanted to ask you just, we left off with some advice for educators. What is some advice that you have for your peers? And when I say your peers, I say 0 to kind of that 24, 25-ish range, just some advice that you would have for them. And I'll start with you, Eva.
Some advice I would have for peers. Again, going with like the keep pushing thing in class, like just make sure you're always on task. And like when others are struggling, make sure you like even if you struggle to speak up in class, there's always going to be that one person who like struggles the most. And I feel like it's really important to be able to help and have a reach out hand to be able to help others and make sure that they're also doing what they need to do in class, but also feel like the classroom is a safe environment. That's my biggest goal is to make sure the class is a like safe environment for literally everybody.
That's all right. That's all right. Everybody deserves to have not only just a safe space, but a brave space. And I know when you're in it, you contribute to that. And I know, what about you?
Advice for
Your
my like
peers.
peers
Yeah.
and everything. I would say that like don't always see your mistakes as like a bad thing because like you can always learn from them. And also like stuff that I learned is that like the first step to success is like failure because you need to start like learning from your mistakes. And then when people are starting to make the same mistakes you did, you can help them out.
Like that. What's a question, or what's a person that you would want to ask a question to? Dead, alive, in the space, and then what would that question be?
Um, hmm. A question that I would just
Yeah, a person you'd like to talk to, and then what's a question you would ask them?
just question from like I would say my mom. I would say um I would say that like I want to ask a question from her cuz she's been through a lot lately and also that she's been like helping me grow as a person and everything and I just want to ask like questions of like how did she get through certain stuff?
Powerful, and I'm sure she's appreciative of not only just you, but appreciative of the fact that she's the person that you chose out of everybody that you could have chose. You chose mom. Eva, what about you? A person that you'd want to sit and have lunch, dinner with, or whatever else, and a question you might ask them.
It'd probably be my grandpa,
Okay, what's your grandpa's name?
Andy.
Andy.
He always went through a lot, and he was like the man of the household. And I was gonna ask him like how he took those amazing photos at the zoo when we always went. um, because I really want to be a photographer, like do take pictures. I feel like it'd be really fun.
Wow, and you showed some emotion with that. Is he still here or
No.
he's back? No. That's awesome. Tell us. You said his name's Andy. What was his last name?
Grow.
Andy Grow. All right, Andy Grow definitely made an impact on you and so many others. And so, I think he's taking a picture of you right now, sitting in this space. You already done this in some ways, in so many ways, but can you finish the sentence? Love is, and I'm gonna start with you, Nainoa. Love is.
Love is something that like everyone experiences. Love is caring. It's a beautiful thing to experience. And also, but it could be also a dangerous thing to like experience. And the love is just like the wind, I would say, that you can always feel it, but you can't see it.
Wow. Eva, we're looking for some Kleenexes, but like Eva, love you shared. I mean, you have definitely love for Grandpa Andy, but finish the sentence. Love is
anything you make it. I feel like love could be a teammate on a basketball team. Love could be someone in a classroom that you like really relate to. Love could be a teacher who really helped you throughout like the school year, But love is to me that having a good like foundation of a friend group or a classmate or like a team that will always be there to support you on your lowest.
Hmm.
And Pete, I don't know if you've ever been asked this one. Like, what is love to you?
Love is presence, not just participation. Love is being present when it's hard. And so for me, like I said, I think that presence is extremely important, because sometimes when you're absent, that's when love seems to fade. So great way to turn that around on me there.
Yeah. Well, man, you guys,
I was going to
some
say,
real brain busters.
I almost was going to ask you, but it looks like when we're running short of time, so I'm going to get you, get you next week. So future plans, and then I want to get our love huddle. Eva, you shared a little bit about wanting to be a photographer. What are future plans that you have for yourself? And I think Harrison and I would like put it out there. How can people help you achieve these future plans?
Some goals and like future achievements I have. Well, again, going back to photography, like I really want to look into like doing photo shoots and taking photos and being able to publish that and inspire others to be like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I could do that too. I just have to get the time and be there and make sure I get the right picture. And then another one for me is I really want to play for LSU because that's a good basketball college team, especially for the girls. I've watched them like play on TV a couple times and they're like really good. And so I just want to like push myself and be able to drive and get where I want to go for that and make sure I get like, even if I don't get a scholarship, make sure I'm able to be on a team and make sure I'm out there on the court.
Like that. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. What about you, Nainoa?
Well, future goals and like plans that I have for the future is that I want to be just some sort of athlete, because like I said, I like being active, I like sports. And I guess like some of the main ones that I would want to be in is either like football, track, and maybe volleyball if it gets to those points. And college, I don't know yet, honestly. Like I'm still trying to plan for it, but also I'm just trying to enjoy the time as like me being a kid as long as I can.
With that being said, 30 seconds. I want each of you, your love huddle. Give us that pep talk. Give the community the talk that they need to hear right now. I'm gonna start with you, Nainoa.
Okay, honestly, a thing that you should just keep on remembering is that you should be you, and you can always like talk to someone, and no matter like where you are or what you're involved in, you always have like a certain role to fit in.
Nice. Eva, take us out.
Go out there and give it your all. Even if you don't feel like you have the confidence, just put it out there. Whatever you leave out there, not even on the court, but in a classroom, whatever you put out there, it's always going to stay there. It's going to be like, always going to be your confident boost.
That's it. Hey, you joined us, 93.7 The Ticket, bigger than the score. Hey, every week at 11 a.m., join us. Peter Ferguson, Harrison on the ones and twos. We'll see you next week.
NEPCO is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEPCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training.